One of the discussions we're starting today here on Business Morning is the investors and exporters window of the Central Bank of Nigeria's trading started exactly 1 year ago on FMTQ OTC Securities Exchange, when we're covering that for you. There are no glasses being clinked or champagne being popped today. Not that, at least, that I'm aware of. Maybe Godwin Emefiele and his team will be doing something in the boardroom, the Central Bank headquarters in Abuja. I'm not aware of that. But here we're not clinking glasses, but it's worth something for Nigeria to celebrate, and we're doing an expansive discussion of that. The I&E window has been a major supporter of Nigeria's commodities market, stabilizing the naira over the last 365 days and helping the roof at least not to cave in. Let's have a broader commodities market conversation. Adimo Kwesa is here from Financial Derivatives Company, and he's back here after about 2 weeks hiatus, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
it's good to have you back.
Thank you very much.
There are a lot of issues burning in the on the economic front. One of it is that crude oil is back again on a rally. I checked a few minutes ago. We're well above $75 a barrel, though later last week we were going down about 73, and I was holding my breath. Now I can exhale.
Yes, indeed. It's a very good week for Nigeria in the commodity space, especially. I think Brent, like you said, is above $75, and that is in spite of President Trump's tweets. To paraphrase, I think the president said OPEC is at it again. They're keeping prices artificially high, and it cannot be accepted. But to some point, he has a point, because what OPEC are doing, they're rebalancing the market, and by balancing the market, you're cutting supply, and when there's reduced supply, prices go up. The
United States is not part of OPEC+1.
Yes, indeed.
So it's understandable that on the day that the OPEC Monitoring Committee is meeting in Saudi Arabia, President Tweet threw a stone at that meeting over Iran, whatever is coming through, and it landed in Saudi Arabia, where the meeting, and the Saudi energy minister also threw another stone back at the White House, saying, hold on a second, there's enough room at the top for prices to grow without, quote-unquote, inflation, or what you call artificially high prices, has been said. That almost spoiled my lunchtime, those tweets on Twitter on Friday.
Yes, I think, in my opinion, I think he's just looking for a scapegoat, because higher oil prices means higher gasoline prices for U.S. consumers. So we're heading to the gasoline summer driving season in the U.S.
So it's in the enlightened interest of the Americans that President Trump spoke.
So maybe he's looking for someone to blame when Americans start feeling the
gasoline prices.
Of higher gasoline prices.
Don't blame me. Look at OPEC+1.
OPEC+1, yes.
And that's Russia, effectively.
Yes, that's true. But I think if you look at it, another major factor is the Iran deal. So in my opinion, his administration's hawkish stance on Iran and all other adversaries like Russia and Venezuela is also contributing to this uptick in oil prices. I think President Trump has said that he's not a fan of the Iran deal. He's looking to renegotiate the deal on May 12th. And if you take out Iran, that is about 2 million barrels per day. If you take out that amount of oil from the market, you're just adding more fuel to the fire, and that would take oil prices higher and more woes for President Trump. And more woes for President Trump is Nigeria's gain.
Can we really blame President Trump because of the shale production from the U.S.? But again, Saudi Arabia, who is a major player here, wants oil at 80, and some folks feel 80 is not even the bus stop. Maybe we should just aim for 100 and just ramp it up to that very nice and sweet figure.
It is possible, but there's a trade-off between market share and high prices. So at what point would OPEC say, we have lost enough market share, let's stop doing this OPEC cut deal and focus on market share? But there's, like you said, the OPEC minister said there's still much more capacity for oil prices to rise.
Right now, OPEC+1 wants price first.
Yes.
And they can deal with the other ones later.
Price first, yes. So higher prices, of course, is more beneficial for Nigeria. So
more beneficial for Nigeria?
We hope oil prices rise further than it is, as it is, yes.
I like that. We're still working with the budget. We're not sure what the House of Reps and the Senate will do. Maybe they'll be looking at 75 and believe that, and think that maybe they should add a little bit more to the oil prices. Then the budget gets a little bit bigger. How that will appeal to the man on the street is anyone's guess out there. What happens to petrol prices, cost of imports, and things like that. But let's go to cocoa and go to another commodity and just leave oil a little bit. The story out of the prices and the tightening global supply is a major one. With Ivory Coast always in the news when it comes to that.
Yes, I think just a few months ago we were talking about how cheap cocoa is. Now it's the reverse now. The cocoa price has risen by over 50% compared to the last 18 months. I think right now we are seeing the market is in a deficit position because there's major cocoa producers such as Ivory Coast, Ghana are struggling to ramp up production. There's a drought-like weather conditions. I think even in Nigeria here is extremely hot compared to other times of the year. So same as it is in Ivory Coast. It's extremely hot. Hot weather conditions are not only damaging the crop, but it's also making it difficult to grow the crop. So we expect the mid-crop coming out from Ivory Coast to be much lower. And also on the other side of things, we are seeing grinding ramp up. Grinding is a proxy for cocoa demand. Grinding is when you process cocoa, you process it into cocoa paste and cocoa powder, which you
semi-finished,
which you then make chocolate. So we're seeing grinding statistics go up in the US, in Europe, and also in West Africa. So combination
between
of
Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
Combination of strong demand and declining supply is really ramping up the price.
Whether cocoa prices go up a metric ton or not, I can't feel it here.
Yes, to pour.
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't want to pour water on the parade, but Nigeria actually produces about 200,000 tons of cocoa, which is a drop of water, in my opinion. So even with higher prices, we'd only get about $600 million. So it's not really much. So I hope this is just an incentive for us to boost production so that we can benefit more from these higher prices.
I don't mind if we have more local companies process cocoa to some finished product. I don't want to get upset this morning. I remember, and a number of folks in this room and millions of our viewers in Nigeria and around the world were old enough. Remember that we used to have what you call Cocoa Industries Limited. It was a factory based in Ikeja Industrial Estate and used to produce a Bonvita-like type of finished beverage, cocoa beverage.